really keen to, obviously we've connected on LinkedIn's, seen your post, really inspiring, and exactly the kind of person I want to feature on confidence stories. And really, in your own words, I mean, obviously you've seen the question, I've shared them, but before we get into those 7 questions, just share with me a little bit more about yourself.
So my name is Dana. We've been chatting. But I grew up in Portland, Oregon before it was remotely trendy or cool, and didn't have any artisanal coffee or anything. And I was very, I always had my head in a book. I literally was such a bookworm, or I would be outdoors climbing a tree. So I really liked math. I really liked reading. I was very studious. I was very quiet, and all those things served me well, and it was fine. But I think maybe around middle school or high school, I really started noticing hey, I don't really, I have all these ideas inside me, and I feel confident with regards to getting grades in school, but I don't really feel that confident to authentically be myself. I didn't feel that confident to be able to express my ideas. And I think that's where kind of my confidence journey started to come to fruition, probably around that period of time.
And what sort of age was that?
I mean, maybe middle school, I started noticing okay, I feel like there's a real need to fit in here. And that's probably where maybe some tension around, I don't feel confident, was showing up. Honestly, it just ended up being an extremely painful period of time.
Yeah.
There's really no way around it. I had not the best teeth. I was in braces and headgear. It just a whole spectrum of things. And I think for me, I channeled that insecurity probably in not positive ways. I think it made me a little bit more rebellious. I found snowboarding. I channeled a lot of energy into that, but I definitely think that it was a very difficult period of time, all of middle school and all of high school, feeling like I didn't fit into what society expected of me.
What does confidence mean to you? How would you define it?
So I think I really see confidence as that deep inner knowing that you are worthy, you are enough, and you might be knocked down many times, and you might question that at times, but you have that sort of well to draw upon.
Thinking through your whole life beyond middle school, it sounds like you've grown up lacking confidence in key ways. What are other time periods in your life where you felt your confidence was knocked back? And sort of when would you say you've actually broken through and sort of developed that confidence? How, at what point in your life did that happen?
I think as I followed my own path and achieved some successes or achieved goals that were meaningful to me or established real relationships, that kind of helped me build incremental confidence. And I did hit a point in time when I was in my career where I knew intellectually and work ethic wise that I deserved to be there in the workplace and have my job. And I had really strong career ambitions. I was like, I want to go as far as I can with this career. And I hit a point maybe around 30 where I could not get into a leadership position. And I kept hearing literally and kind of just assumed, you are not fit for leadership position. I don't see you in a management role. You are not confident enough, every possible flavor of that. And at first it was frustrating. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm never going to be that person. But what got me over the hump of being resigned to low confidence to actually doing something about it was I saw so many people who maybe cared less about the job, maybe weren't working as hard, maybe didn't have the skill set, and they were more outwardly confident. So they were getting promoted. And I saw that happen so many times that I think I just ran out of excuses. Yeah. And I got really kind of angry and fired up about it. And I started pushing myself out of my confidence or out of my comfort zone and speaking. And for me, it was safer to speak to other women, but for everyone that's going to look different, or people who that you have maybe a similar identity to or feel more comfortable with. And I started having conversations. And then a female executive said, I see a lot of potential in you. Why don't you ask your boss for a coach to help you with confidence? And it took me a year to build the confidence. And by that point, I was a manager and I had one employee. So I was kind of moving up a little bit. And I would be in these leadership meetings and my body language would be like, like small, like hunched over. I literally had my hands like under my legs, just not taking up space. And I noticed that the more confident people would sit back and maybe like, you can't see me completely, but kind of like take up more space, maybe like extend your legs. And so I experimented with that. Psychologically, people responded to me completely different. I did it with a presentation with a group of folks from out of town, and it was like the most successful presentation I had, tons of engagement.
So you mentioned a confidence coach, and so what would you say are sort of the key light bulb moments perhaps that you've had and as you worked with your confidence coach? How did you feel at the end of it?
For me, it's a lifetime journey.
Yeah.
And I think you can get really big improvements by working with someone or doing a program for a short period of time. But for me, it's really a constant evolution of myself as a human. I think working with a coach completely shattered my limiting beliefs, and it completely changed the trajectory of what was possible for my life.
If you don't mind sharing, and obviously, like what are the sorts of things that, or even just one thing that you felt was quite scary to work through or to come to grips with?
I think coaching can unlock a lot of different facets of your life. And I initially approached coaching strictly for business purposes. At this point in my life, I pay for my own coach, and it is not confined to a small box. It is confined to everything that I am as a human. One of the things that I think is challenging is exploring all of the core limiting beliefs that I have as a human, which most of us typically do because we had a childhood, we have our own life experiences, we view the world a certain way. So I think some of the really challenging but the most juicy work is understanding what those are.
In terms of what difference does it make to your life? Like you mentioned, it took you a year to even ask for a confidence coach. Where has it since grown into, and what does it allow you to do you never thought you could do?
It has completely changed the trajectory of my life. Like every aspect of my life, every cell in my body is different. I mean that as far as personal relationships, I have, a relationship that for the most part is happy and healthy and something I never thought possible. And I'm able to continually invest in that and nurture that because I'm comfortable being uncomfortable sometimes. Like professionally, it's exceeded my wildest dreams. And hopefully I have, the rest of my lifetime to keep putting out the energy in the world that I would love to see and support other people as well.
I suppose anyone who's struggling with their confidence right now, or they've always struggled with their confidence, what would be your advice to how to get started?
Yeah, there's nothing really that I can do to really shift the circumstances that are going on, but just know that you are such a valuable, amazing contribution to the world. You might not feel like that, but there is such a reason why you are here, and you have such unique gifts and goodness, and that is possible for you to unlock. That is possible for you to get in touch with, and you absolutely can feel more confident.
And sort of the last question, and I'll let you go. Particularly young people, we know that confidence is a huge issue for young people, young adults, and particularly sort of the first generation that's really grown up with a phone in their hand by and large. And it's a very different world, in addition to the pressures you already go through, that you've been through, that I've been through in middle school. What would you say to, say an 18-year-old, and in terms of the value coaching could bring to them, or the sorts of, that whole starting that self-development journey early?
For me, it's simply being in nature. And sometimes after all the, the stimulation that we get from our phones, it can even feel boring to be outside. But if you can sit with that for a minute, it can get really cool. You can start noticing things, and that can really quickly ground you and get you back into that space where you can connect with that inner confidence and be able to reach out to find a supportive community that can really uplift you.
Thank you so much. It was a
Yeah,
beautiful story. Thank you for sharing. And I know we'll be in touch,
Yeah, it was great to connect with you. You're a fabulous co-host and moderator.